was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt fool cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt fool cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt fool cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood.
And we're live, and we're kind of back. I'm Wes. This guy is not here. He's too good for us. He's actually in Hawaii right now. So, David, hope you're having a great time. I'm going to take this thing off the screen. This is weird. So, David actually suggested joining the show. He was like, "Yeah, I'm in Hawaii. I'm almost never there." He may have been there like once before. I don't know. I don't know his whole life story. He's been everywhere, though. But he's like, yeah, I'm in Hawaii. When am I ever in Hawaii? So I'm totally going to join the show. It'll be like 2 p.m. there. So, yeah, I'm going to join. I'm like, no. You're in Hawaii with your wife. If you join a live stream with me, we'll both be in trouble. So he kept saying he was going to join, and then I think at the last minute, maybe Nikki talked him out of it. So David's not here today, and as I always say, I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me. So buckle up. It's going to be an exciting ride, can't you tell? Keith Edwards already noticed. Yep, somebody's in Hawaii. Keith, by the way, we still got to do a show from your place. In case those watching and listening don't know, Keith Edwards is actually a professional esports coach, so it's pretty awesome. Pretty excited to do a show from his place. David and I were actually going to commentate his team playing a game that we probably know nothing about. More than likely know absolutely nothing about. So, should we get to it? First of all, let me say the most important part of the show is finding out what we're drinking. So, last week, in case you didn't notice, I wasn't here. I was on vacation myself, and I did not join the show. I left some comments, but I was in the Outer Banks. We went to Nag's Head, which is an awesome area. Man, we had a lot of fun, but I was not here. David did the show without me. He had a special guest from Goalie Dads United. They have another podcast, and I think they're on YouTube. I think they actually have an audio podcast somewhere, too. But if any of the guys from Goalie Dads United are watching, leave your details down below. I'll definitely put them on the screen. So they talked sports. I know nothing about sports. That was one of David's rare opportunities to talk sports on this show. But what am I drinking? I am drinking, since that was a long story to get to what I'm drinking. Since I was on my way to the Outer Banks from Columbus, we traveled through West Virginia. We stopped at Tamarack, like we always do. I like to stop there for lunch. So I, of course, picked up some local beer from Tamarack. I got what's his brewery? Greenbrier Valley Brewing, and it is Brexy Blonde Ale. So I got a couple of these. I got some ciders. I got a few different kinds of beer. So I like to pick up local beers whenever I travel. And it's funny, when you travel outside of Central Ohio, everybody and their brother here has a brewery. There are so many local breweries. But it's weird when you travel outside of areas that have a lot of breweries to places where there aren't that many local, beers. It's weird trying to find one. You're like, what do you have that's local? And they're like, I don't know, Rolling Rock? Sam Adams is from Boston, so it's kind of close. Yeah, no, it's what craft breweries are nearby, and do you have any of their beers? So this is actually from there, Tamarack. And yeah, so I'm drinking. So what are you guys drinking? Let me know in the comments down below. So for today's show, I actually really considered kind of taking advantage of the fact that David's not here. In case you don't know, he's not a big fan of AI. I'm a huge nerd. I love talking about AI and technology and all that kind of stuff, how it's going to take over the world, and we're all going to die a fiery death, just like in Terminator. It's going to happen. OpenAI is going to take over the world, and its AI is going to destroy it. But before that happens, I like to talk about it. So, David does not. He doesn't care. It might be his least favorite topic. So I actually had a whole agenda put together for just with AI, and it wasn't bad. We'll save that for another day. But I also considered going through some of the different AI models. And do you remember our 200th episode where I unveiled our AI beauty contest entry, which was basically pictures of David's face AI put onto bikini-clad bodies? I thought about making today's show all about that. There's some really good text-to-video platforms out right now that make like photorealistic, video-realistic videos of anything that you want. It's amazing. So I was thinking about doing some stuff there, putting David Baywatch style running down the beach, or there's another one that will make people dance, or you can animate them. So it's I forget the name, but basically if you take a photo of somebody standing there, just a full body photo, and you enter it, and you enter a second file of somebody moving or acting or dancing, it'll take the photo and add it to that motion and actually make that person dance and move around. It's pretty cool. It's pretty exciting. So I was thinking about doing that with David, or even some of the facial animations now. If you get a photo of somebody's face and add text, it will actually animate their face, and like it's emotive. It's really, really good. So I was thinking about really doing some inappropriate things to to annoy David because he's not here. But I'll save that for another day. I decided instead to go back to my roots, which is marketing. I know you're all very excited for marketing stuff, but look, it's stuff I can use as micro content in other places. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. This is really good. I really like this topic. So for decades, I mean, for a really, really long time, people have been talking about manifestation, right? So, you know, if you just believe it, it'll become a real thing. You know, Oprah Winfrey had like a book on this. It was, what was Oprah's book about manifestation? It was all about, writing down a dream journal or creating a vision board, stuff like that, all the manifestation tricks. And it's all about like will attract like, and if you envision it, it will come into your reality magically. And I'm a big fan of conspiracy theories. I like weird conspiracy theories of all types, even ones that are paranormal and just wacky. And so I was doing some research on the idea of manifestation because I like just the sci-fi idea of what that's all about. And I was thinking about it, and there are actually some subconscious real-world applications for that mindset, believe it or not. Nothing supernatural, nothing, woohoo, wacky about it. No, I've used this phrase before. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. And by energy, I don't mean like this hippy-dippy, aura energy. No, I actually mean your active physical energy. And when you really focus on something, you're going to focus on it and get it done, right? I'm sure to a lot of people who know me, this is really, really annoying to them. But when I'm into a subject, when I'm really into something, I'm obsessed with it, right? Like kind of like AI at times, or when I take on a new project, or when I start a new business, or when I do this or that, I focus and I am obsessed. I obviously don't want to talk about sports. I don't want to talk about anything else. I really have zero interpersonal skills at those times because I don't want to chit chat about random nonsense. I want to focus on this, and that's just all I want to do. I'm sure David's run into this as well when he and I are out drinking or just meeting with the guys. We'll have some beers, and I'm still talking about this one project, this one thing, and I'm positive at those times, he probably does not want to hang out with me. But it's look, it is what it is, and you have to be obsessed, right? If it's your business, you have to be obsessed. If it's a project that you really want to get done, you have to be obsessed. We did a show a while ago. Sorry, I'm a little congested right now, so I'm trying not to snort into the into the microphone. That'll be good audio. But sorry. There we go. Okay. Got it. So we did a show a while ago on the idea. I completely lost my train of thought. Anyway, where your attention goes, your energy flows. That's it. I'll get back to the idea. It's gonna be one of those kind of shows. Yeah, no, okay, now I remember. We did a show talking about why employees sometimes can't live up to their managers or their bosses' expectations, right? A lot of times when there's a business owner or even a manager or even a high-level executive who has a team under him, a lot of times they will fully expect their team to have the same passion and drive as they do. If you're a business owner, it's very frustrating sometimes when your team underneath you, these people that you hired that you sign their paychecks, they're not as passionate as you are about your business. Guess what? It's not their business. Of course they're not going to be as passionate as you are. And they shouldn't be. For all the people who have bosses like that, I apologize for all of them. They shouldn't be like that. If you have a business, nobody should love your business as much as you do. That's just it. You're focused. You're obsessed with this business. And if you want it to succeed, you have to be. But don't expect your team to be. At the same time, you can use that drive to build your business or build this project or build this or that in your life. If there's something that you really, really, really want to happen, you're going to make it happen. Here's a prime example. Okay, prime example. A lot of times people say, you can't really build back. When you're down in life, you really can't build back until you hit rock bottom, right? How often we've all heard that, and in a lot of cases, we've all felt that in a number of different ways. When you're at rock bottom, you got nothing to lose, but at the same time, that idea of nothing to lose means you have all the drive in the world. If you want to succeed, if you want to get back on your feet, you have to. You gotta move. But if you have that safety net, where's the incentive? I mean, we could get very political and start talking about things like minimum wage and working extra hard to work your way up in a company and all that kind of stuff. We're not going to go there. We don't get political on this show. But there's something to be said about being at rock bottom and wanting to climb, wanting to get higher in the business, wanting to get that thing that you didn't have before, or get that thing back that you had before that you don't have anymore. Once you hit rock bottom, you feel that drive. I'm not a big Friends guy. I never really got that into the show, but I do remember one episode where one of the characters, I can't remember which one. I think it was one of the guys, wanted to find a new job or something, and he couldn't do it while he was still employed at this one place because he didn't feel the drive. He didn't feel the need. I think they said he didn't feel the fear. You got to feel the fear to really get the drive to make it happen. When are you going to run faster? When you're out on a leisurely jog or when a bear is chasing you? When a bear is chasing you, guess what? You're probably hauling butt. I mean, the bear is going to catch you and eat you because they can run like 30 miles an hour. That's a tangent that we don't need to talk about. But you're gonna run a heck of a lot faster because you got the drive, you got the fear, and that's what it's all about. So we're gonna break down the 4 keys to really unlocking your potential. And there's something to this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about the idea of manifestation. Again, I don't mean this in a very like woo-woo, psychedelic, hippy-dippy kind of way, but the idea of manifestation, one of the reasons it kind of works for some people is because it drives those ideas and that hunger and that desire into their subconscious. When you focus on something, like I said, where your attention goes, your energy flows. The more attention you focus on this thing, getting that job, getting that girl or guy, whatever you're into, getting that car, getting that house, building that business, when you focus and you obsess, and that's where your attention is, guess what? That's where your energy is going to flow. And I don't mean aura or nonsense, energy like that. I mean your actual physical energy. You're not going to want to, play video games for 5 hours a day. People do that, which drives me crazy. I can't imagine wasting time like that, but people do it. No, Keith Edwards, I'm sorry. I know you actually have a video game team. That was a poor example. But I'm talking about like just dads who sit at home and do nothing but play video games and just, that's just how they want to live their life. And that's fine if that's what they want to do. But at the same time, guys who say, oh, I have so many goals. I want to do this and that, and I want to build that business right after this 5-hour, football game. I don't know how long football games are. They're way too long. That's all I can say. But what it comes down to is the idea of manifestation is just where your attention goes, your energy will follow because you're going to be obsessed with that thing. And that's why manifestation, the idea of manifestation kind of works for some people because they're focusing on this thing. The things on their vision boards they put on the wall. They put them there and they're focused on that. It's a daily reminder when they see it. They're like, I must achieve this thing. And subconsciously, that's going to build up in the back of their minds, and they're going to be working towards it. And we're going to talk about the 4 keys to really unlock this in your life. Without all the supernatural, I think it's The Secret. I knew I'd get back to it. The book that Oprah wrote, I think she wrote it, or she ghost wrote it or something. I think it's called The Secret, and it's all about manifestation in your life. And boy, if she just used manifestation, you better follow her example because she's a bajillionaire. So yeah, that's a whole different show right there. But let's get to the 4 keys of manifestation. Oh, hey Keith. Sorry. Hey. Nobody read it. Don't worry. Yeah, nobody read The Secret. I think my current wife might have read The Secret. But yeah. So Keith, by the way, we're gonna do a show from your video game place soon. I promise. We're gonna make this happen. I think our 4-year anniversary is coming up soon of this show, and I think wasn't your place one of the places we were talking about doing it from. So that's on the table for later this year. All right, to the 4 secrets. Not the Oprah Winfrey secret, but the 4 secrets, the 4 keys to unlocking your true potential. All right. So, key number 1 is the law of attraction, right? We just talked about it. Reality or myth. So the law of attraction, the law of attraction. Let's see. I'm reading my notes. It's very, very small font. Basically, it's the idea that like attracts like. The idea that your positivity, it's going to attract positivity. Your negativity, it's going to attract negativity. And there's something really to that. It's not some, mythical force. But at the same time, it's the idea that when you're negative, guess what? The positive people aren't going to be around you. It's just not. When you're positive, you're probably going to annoy the heck out of the negative people. So positive people will be attracted to you. At the same time, again, the law of attraction. The idea that like attracts like is that when you set your mind to something, like we just talked about, you're going to naturally attract that thing, even subconsciously. It's like when you see a red car. If somebody says, look for a red car, all you're going to see are red cars everywhere you go. Or when you buy a new car. This happens all the time. When you buy a new car, and you never really thought about that model of car before, you never really noticed it on the road, you're like, oh, this is kind of unique. But then after you buy it, guess what? You see them everywhere. It's where your attention is now, so you're going to see it everywhere, right? The same thing happens with your activities and your success. And I think I hear our live studio audience coming down to join me. Hey, Locke. How's it going, buddy?
Hello.
What do you got there, kiddo?
It's my creature.
Oh my gosh, you got that for your birthday.
Yeah.
That's a stuffy, and I don't remember the name of that creature, but that was a real creature that lived on Earth. Catherine, what do you have?
A gorilla.
You got a gorilla? It's awesome. I love it. And it's attacking me. And you're dressed up like a bunny. It's so cute.
Are we talking to somebody?
No, I'm here by myself.
Really?
All by myself.
Really?
Yeah, but there's people watching and listening. Isn't it cool? Oh, no.
No.
Hey, how old are you now? Because it was your birthday.
9.
You're 9 years old. Dude, you're getting old. You're getting old and tall.
We're talking to no one.
Well, we're talking to the internet, the world. The world is our oyster. Catherine, how old are you? It was your birthday recently, too.
7.
She's 7 years old. She had to think about it. Hey, get out of here. What are you doing?
It's mouthing.
It's attacking.
You.
It's mouthing me. Get
This
out of here.
thing was
Crazy.
actually a real thing on the world.
It was. Can you believe something like this actually lived on Earth? That is bonk. What if you went into the ocean on a vacation and you saw that swimming around? I would freak out.
I would try to catch it,
Yeah. Well, it would reach around and bite you with that weird mouth.
and then it would have the tiny mouth.
Yeah, that's
It
crazy.
looks like it might be able to walk too.
It might have those little nubby legs. That's so crazy. If anybody out there watching or listening knows what this critter is, put the name in the comments because it is bonkers.
Like there's comments.
Yeah, people can leave comments. Isn't that crazy? All right, you guys heading to bed?
No. Nobody read it. Not worry.
It says nobody read it. Don't worry. There's a book I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
But really,
What?
no one's read this.
Well, no, he wasn't talking about this. He was talking about a different book.
Oh.
Okay, you guys head upstairs. I gotta keep doing the show.
Bite, bite, bite.
Good night, guys. I'll see you in the morning. Mwah. Love you, buddy.
Okay, Mom.
Good night, Catherine. Love you,
Why
sweetie.
did you take the TV down?
Oh, that's a different TV.
Oh, well, you bought it.
Well, that was Mimi and Papa Ray's TV.
Oh,
Yeah.
why did they bring it here?
I don't know. That just happens. Hey, go upstairs. Stop messing with my stuff. The joys of doing a live show with kids in the house. So, all right. Where was I? Okay, so the laws of attraction. So it's not a mythical force, but there really is something to where you focus. So by setting clear goals, we can actually steer our attention and our energies in very specific directions. And if you're trying to start a business, that's what you need. It's a lot of us get that shiny object syndrome where we think we really want this business or this product or this thing to happen in our lives. And, 6 months in, we get bored, we move on. We see this new shiny thing over here, and we're like, oh, that's neat, I'm going to go do that. In the meantime, all the energy you put in over here, it just went by the wayside. And we've all been there. I've done it many times myself. I'm really, really, really guilty of that too. But, if you really want to succeed, you're not talking days or months or, you're talking years for things to really take off, So you need to maintain that focus, you need to maintain that drive, and that really comes from setting those goals, being obsessed, like I said, with what it is you want to achieve. So this is basically something we're going to call the law of intentional forces, right? You're intending for this thing to happen. That's where you're putting your energies. So number one, the law of attraction, reality or myth? I say reality. The law of attraction. If you use it correctly, right? If you don't use it correctly, it's not for you. But if you do use it, it's a very, very important tool. I guarantee you, if you talk to any highly successful person or anybody who's started a business and it's successful and still going, this is what they're going to tell you. They obsessed and they focused, and you need to maintain it. And through good times and bad, it's just something you need to do. Law of attraction. It's actually a real thing, believe it or not. Number two is crafting clear and engaging goals, right? So we've talked about this before. We've talked about SMART goals, things like that. I'm not going to get into all that. If you want to know what a SMART goal is, just Google it. That's it. But it's a real thing. So setting your goals is really broken down in a few different areas. We're just going to run through these real quick. One is be specific, right? So the thing about ambiguous goals is they give ambiguous results. You need to be very, very specific. Pinpoint your objectives, right? Say, I want this specific thing. I need to reach this specific goal. I need to do that specific thing in order for this to happen. When you're very wishy-washy, guess what? You're gonna get wishy-washy results. So like instead of saying, I want to be successful, what does that mean? That's actually we do a whole show just on that. What does success mean to you? What does success mean? Instead, you should say something like, I want to boost my sales by 20% this quarter. That's it. That's a very measurable goal, and that's actually one of the things we're going to get into. But be specific about your goals, right? Number 2, quantify them. Quantify your goals. So you need to set concrete metrics by which you can gauge your goals. Like we were saying with being specific, how do you gauge their success? You need to be able to quantify their success. 20% sales increase, something like that. So that can be done just by tracking what your goals are, right? If your goals are, I'm not worried about making money, but I want I want 100,000 YouTube subscribers. Okay, that's a specific goal. You need to track that by using very specific tools, looking at subscribers, looking at engagement rates, things like that. I would increase sales by 20% next quarter. Okay, look at your specific goals. Look at your specific sales. Look at what's selling better than others. Look at different campaigns that led to those successes, and increase, what's doing better, decrease what's doing worse. Trial and error is a big part of that. So beyond that, you need to keep the goals realistic also. Keep the goals realistic. A lot of us set goals that are just out of this world. Within 6 months, I want to be making $1 million. Okay, it's not realistic. And when it doesn't happen, you're going to be disappointed. And you might give up and go back to, pumping gas or flipping burgers or whatever it is you were doing before. You need to set realistic goals. You need to set incremental goals that lead up to the big goals. So, like I said, unrealistic goals, it's going to lead to disappointment. Underestimating your goals at the same time. You set your goals low, guess what? You're going to get low results. Set your goals too high, you're going to be disappointed. What you want to do is set them just outside of what you think is realistic, right? If you think realistic is right here, and you're like, that really seems like something I can do, go just above that. Be like, you know what? I can do better. And that's your goal. And don't give up. And really get in the mindset of having that goal. Here's an example. It's a little morbid, but I actually think this is a really good example of thinking about goals, especially when it says be realistic. Realistic goals can depend on a lot of different things, right? They can really vary based on your motivation. If your motivation is low, guess what? Your realistic goals are probably going to be lower. If your motivation is very, very high and you're obsessed, like I said, your realistic goals can be much higher. Here's, like I said, it's a little morbid, but here's something I heard somebody talk about once. Think about a goal like, hypothetically, if someone were to kidnap your family and hold them all at gunpoint, and they said, you have 1 year to make $1 million. Don't call the feds, or it's all over for them. It's morbid. You don't want to think about it. But honestly, if something like that were to happen, you would work yourself you'd work your fingers to the bone to make that $1 million. You would make it happen. You'd find a way to make $1 million within a year. Come hell or high water, you would do it. And guess what? You can do it. But you need that fear. You need the motivation. You don't need somebody kidnapping your family, for Pete's sake. But the point still stands, right? By the way, if you're leaving comments, I'm actually looking at my notes, not looking at the comment section, so I apologize if I don't see them in time. But you get what I'm saying. So keep your goals realistic, but also keep in mind your realistic goals will vary quite a bit depending on your personal motivation level. So relevance is crucial. So align your goals with the values and dreams that you set at the beginning, right? So why is this goal important to you? Is it just sales? Are you just after the money? Yeah. Okay. Are you looking to engage more with your audience? Are you looking to build an audience? And money isn't really the goal. Keep your goals relevant to what you actually want to achieve. Sometimes you need to achieve, X, and Y before you can achieve Z. It's sort of a curving path into that end goal. But keep that in mind. What do you need to do over here in order to make this happen, right? So keep your goals relevant. A lot of times we can, like I said, shiny object syndrome, and we can kind of lose track of what we're trying to achieve. And finally, set a deadline. Deadline. Remember earlier I said you need to quantify your goals. You need to measure how successful you are at achieving those goals. Well, one of those important metrics is, can you meet the deadline? The deadline, in fact, itself might be the goal. I have a year to make $1 million, or terrible things are going to happen, like the last analogy. I have 6 months. I've given myself 6 months to achieve X, Y, and Z before my runway runs out and I need to go back to a day job. You know what I mean? I have 3 months. By this point, in 3 months, I need to have X number of dollars in sales in order to be able to pay my employee or my car bill. I don't know. Luckily, my car is paid off. But you get what I'm saying. So set deadlines, and that might be one of the most important metrics you can possibly set for yourself. So keep that in mind. So like I said, number 1 was the law of attraction, myth or reality. Totally reality if you actually use the tool correctly. Number 2, crafting clear and engaging goals. Again, I would actually look up SMART goals if I were you. Just Google it. They will explain it in much more detail than I can right here. Number 3 is nurturing a powerful mindset. That's a big one. So, along with manifestation, there's a really woo-woo out there concept of affirmation. There's sort of the running joke that you'll hear or see sometimes in shows and movies about some nerdy dude with a terrible life who wakes up alone and looks in a mirror and says to himself, "I'm cool. People like me. I can succeed." And he keeps doing it over and over again. It's just one of those kind of just running gags. But it's those gags are written by people who don't actually understand what's happening. Affirmations are a real thing. How you talk to yourself is a real thing. Believe it or not, it's there's nothing, woo-woo or, supernatural about it like the traditional idea of manifestation. It's actually a real psychological trick. When you speak poorly to yourself or about yourself, you may be joking. It may be a self-deprecating thing. And self-deprecating humor is great. I use it all the time. And I think every, well-rounded, normal human being should use self-deprecating humor. But, at the same time, the more you do it, the more your subconscious is going to believe it. Right? There's the idea that the 2 most powerful words in the English language are I am. I'm not going to get into the biblical roots of something like that. That's a whole different, philosophical show. But the idea of saying I am this, I am that. If they're bad things, guess what? I'm such an idiot. What a moron. I am a dummy. I'm a big dummy, dumb dummy with a big old bouncing belly. I look terrible in my swimsuit. After a while, you're going to believe it. The more you say it, the more your subconscious is going to believe it. And guess what? That leads into the idea of manifestation, not the supernatural manifestation. Boy, I hate that it has that terrible context to it, or that, air to the idea of manifestation. But the idea of where your energy goes, or your attention goes, your energy flows. The more you say it to yourself, the more you're going to believe it, the more you're going to manifest it, the more it's actually going to come into your life, because that's where your energies are going. That's where you're going to feel bad about yourself. You're going to eat more poorly. You're not going to sleep as well. You're not going to feel the drive to work out and exercise and go out for that walk or go for that run or lift that weight. But guess what? The more you speak positively about yourself, the more that's going to sink in, So the idea of affirmations, literally, this is a real thing. This is something that actual real successful people do, They'll say, spend, 10 or 15 minutes in the mornings. You're a winner, or I'm a winner. I am successful. I'm going to make this day happen. I'm going to achieve my goals. It sounds silly, It sounds silly to talk to yourself, but look, I'm talking to myself right now. I am in this room by myself, talking to a piece of electronics, hoping that the electromagnetic signal of my voice reaches other people. But I'm talking to myself. Right? So let's not beat ourselves up over something like affirmations. They actually work. And the more you do them, the more they're going to sink into your mind. And if you speak to yourself poorly, you speak about yourself poorly, that's going to sink in. You speak about yourself positively and speak to yourself positively, you're going to be successful. It's going to sink in, and you are going to achieve those things that you're telling yourself you're going to achieve. So let's see. So nurturing a powerful mindset includes embracing growth, right? And this is a big one, embracing growth. One of the ways that we really get down on ourselves is when we fail at something, okay? When we screw up at work, in a relationship, if we're working on our car and we break something we don't mean to. Happens to all of us in all of those scenarios and more. And a lot of times we'll say, man, why am I such an idiot? Why can't I keep a steady girlfriend? Why can't I keep a steady job? Why can't I just do the thing my boss wants me to do? I'm such a moron. Guess what? Failure isn't the end. Failure is a learning opportunity. And that's what you need to tell yourself. Look, I really busted that thing. It sucks. Guess what? Now I know not to do it that way. Oh man, that stupid thing I said to my girlfriend or my current wife, I know not to say that again. And we've all been there. We've all been there. If my current wife is watching, I'm sorry. I don't know what for, but keep that in the bank because I might need it at some point. But it's a real thing. So don't get down on yourself when you fail at something. It's a learning opportunity. I think it was, I almost said Nikola Tesla. Not Nikola Tesla. Thomas Edison said, I didn't discover 2,000 ways. I didn't, no, he said, I think it was 2,000 or was it 10,000? I'm going to go with 2,000. But don't quote me on that. He said something along the lines of, I'm paraphrasing, obviously. He said, I didn't fail 2,000 times at creating a light bulb. I discovered 2,000 ways not to make a light bulb. That's brilliant. That is brilliant. Failure is a learning opportunity, right? And the more we can embrace that, the better we'll get at learning from those mistakes, right? It's the idea that, like, a toddler, if you know, the first time a toddler tries to stand up and walk across the room and they fall down, guess what? If they never stood back up again and tried again, they'd never learn to walk. They'd just crawl around all day. But guess what? They kept at it. They kept trying. It took years to actually learn how to walk properly for most people. I don't know. How long does it take people? I have kids. I should pay attention to these things. It takes years to learn how to speak properly. Guess what? You're not going to learn things overnight. You're not going to be instantly good at things overnight. You're not going to be successful at everything overnight. It takes time. Failure is a learning opportunity. The more you do it, the better you get at it. The more you fail, guess what? The better you get at recovering from those failures. When you fall down, you get better at picking yourself up. That's a real thing. So embrace growth by understanding failure is not the end. It's a learning opportunity. The second part of this is rewrite your narrative, okay? And this is a big one. So our beliefs guide our actions. And this kind of ties, if you notice, all these things kind of tie in together. Our beliefs guide our actions. If you believe you're not good enough, you'll act accordingly. If you believe, oh man, I can't ride that bike. It looks impossible. It's on two wheels. Who has that kind of balance? Guess what? You're going to be nervous. You're not going to do it. You're going to fall over. Man, there's no way I could get on camera and create a video live streaming and talk to myself for an hour. What? I can't, who can do? I can't do that. Guess what? You don't believe you can do it? You're not going to try it. And the more nervous you're going to make yourself when you actually do try it. So you need to rewrite your narrative. You need to actually believe that you can do it. You know, if I come on here and I make a complete idiot of myself, which I do all the time anyway, you just get used to it. But the point is, you guys watching and listening have noticed already, I'm sure, I stutter sometimes. I stammer. I lose my train of thought. And if you know me personally, I am not outgoing at all. I'm actually very like introverted, very kind of shy. And it's just, I'm not shy because I'm afraid of people. It's just where I like to live my life. I'm just that kind of person. But, here, you need to keep going. You need to say things. And it's very unnatural for most people to sit here and talk to a piece of plastic and glass and metal and hope there are other people on the other side. It's tough. But the more you believe that you can do it, the more you're going to be able to do it. And the better you're going to get at picking yourself up when you stutter or stammer or lose your train of thought. The more you do it, the better you get at it. Reset your narrative, okay? And then you need to practice. This is a big one. Okay, this is a big one. Boy, this is a big one. And this is when you hear guys like Gary Vee and those kind of guys talk about all the time. You need to practice gratitude and visualization. Gratitude and visualization. So, gratitude is really, really, really going to shift your focus from scarcity to abundance, right? People who don't understand what that means, if you don't feel grateful for just life, man, just being here, being in a relatively safe environment, surrounded by people who kind of love you at least, you're living a pretty good life. If you're watching this, you're probably already living kind of a good life. You're welcome, by the way. That was stupid. Okay, so the more you understand that you should be grateful for the things that you have, guess what? The more you're going to appreciate what you do have. And when you acquire new things, you're going to appreciate those even more. And when you have that understanding, you're going to have an abundance mindset. There's more that you see because there's more that you're grateful to have. Versus if you don't understand gratitude, if you just take things for granted, if you're entitled, guess what? Your mindset is, there's nothing there. You don't care about that. It's nothing to be, why would I care about that thing over there or these things over here or this house that has might have a leaky roof or a leaky pipe or a crack in the foundation. I don't know. There's nothing special about that. Guess what? You don't have anything, so you don't have anything to be grateful for. But you have everything. It's a mindset thing. It's scarcity versus abundance. And anybody who's actually, like I said earlier, talk to anybody who's actually really successful in life, and they will tell you, you need to have an abundance mindset. You need to be aware of all of the great things that you have, and there is more coming. Versus, you have nothing. If you believe you have nothing, guess what? You're not willing to put anything on the line because you don't have anything to begin with. You can't risk what little you have to actually make something of yourself. It's useless, especially if you speak poorly about yourself. You're an idiot. Why would you possibly waste your time and money and energies? Mindset, right? Okay. And then there's visualization, how that fits into that, right? It's how you visualize the world around you. It helps you put your goals into perspective. It helps you put your resources into perspective to reach those goals, okay? So if you can visualize the world around you and the world that you want is just right over here. It's within arm's reach. You can get there. You just need to have the right mindset to get there, right? So practice gratitude and visualization. All these things tie together. That was number 3. That was nurturing a powerful mindset. Boy, I like that one a lot. And every one of these, man, we could do a whole show on any one of these. And number 4 is taking proactive steps. Man, this again could be a whole show on its own. So you need to be able to split your goals into smaller, more manageable steps. So taking proactive steps means seeing your goals. How do I achieve this goal over here? Guess what? I can break that goal down into individual steps to reach it. And that's what you should be doing. Remember when I said look up SMART goals? That's one of the ideas in there, is setting micro goals to reach that stretch goal. So you need to break down your bigger goals into smaller, more manageable chunks. When you're in a nice restaurant and somebody sets this giant steak that's awesome right down in front of you, you're not going to eat the whole thing in one bite. You're going to cut it up into individual bites and eat it appropriately. So I'm not judging how you eat. I'm just telling you that's how you should eat a steak, probably. Because each step will bring you closer to that stretch goal, right? So that is breaking down your goals in the proactive steps area. Number 2 in this section is consistent effort, right? What is the T-shirt that David always wears? It's like this. It's this weird little equation that we put on a T-shirt. It's the idea that consistency over time equals success, right? You need to be consistent over a long period of time, and the longer you can be consistent, the more successful you will be at that goal that you're trying to achieve. Okay? So it's the idea that again, avoiding shiny object syndrome. You know, like I said earlier, when you really want to achieve something like starting a business, you know, launching a product, something like that, a lot of times to be actually really successful, you're not talking about days, you're not talking about weeks or months, you're talking about years. And it's going to take years of having that consistency over that long period of time to achieve that thing. Most things don't happen overnight. So consistency is actually key to achieving your goals, right? And what you're known for over time is what you're consistently putting your efforts towards, right? If you're the kind of person who consistently is at the local bar, not really doing anything, just kind of hanging out, so what are you going to be known for? That's where your reputation is built. If you're the kind of person who is consistent about setting goals and achieving them, guess what? You're going to be known for that. If you're the kind of person who's consistently making bad jokes, that's how people are going to know you. Consistency builds your reputation. It also helps you achieve your goals. Think about it. It all kind of ties together. So consistency is key. And the third part of this is you need to adapt and persevere. Okay, adapt and persevere. So I was watching a really, really old speech from Jeff Bezos when he was talking about, you know, entrepreneurs and starting businesses and whatnot. And he was saying that, you know, really, really good entrepreneurs are going to be very focused and almost to the point of being closed-minded about the overall objective of what I'm really paraphrasing here, about the overall objective of what they're trying to achieve, right? Starting a business, launching the product. But at the same time, the most successful entrepreneurs are also going to be very comfortable pivoting on the small steps, right? So when it comes to the larger goal, you need to be concrete. You need to be adamant. This is where it is. This is our North Star. Boy, I hate that phrase, but it is what it is. This is our North Star, and that's what we're reaching for. The steps to get there. Don't get lost in the weeds. Don't be afraid to pivot when you need to, okay? Look at YouTube. YouTube, believe it or not, used to be it started out as a dating app. And look at it now. Was it Uber had something else like that? They were, I think it was like just like an elite car rental service or something. And it pivoted into something else. A lot of great companies pivot, and look what they turn into. Amazon. It was Jeff Bezos, of course. So of course we have to talk about Amazon. You know, they were a used bookstore. They were an online used bookstore, and look at them now. Look what they pivoted into. They basically own the world. So don't be afraid to pivot, especially on the small things. And if the small pivots help you evolve the end goal into something greater than it had been originally, then you're better for it. Right? But you need to really, really set those long goals and keep those in mind at all times. But don't be afraid. If you need to, if this rock is slippery, jump to that rock over there. That one's probably going to be a better rock to reach that end goal. Right? Keep that in mind. That really makes a big difference. So those are the 4 key points to unlocking your true potential. Just going to run through those again real quick. 1, the law of attraction, reality myth. Look, manifestation, if used properly, it's an actual tool. I don't mean manifestation in like a woohoo, nonsense, magical kind of way. It's just where you put your attention. You need to focus and obsess on what you want. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. The law of attraction, it's a real thing if you use the tool properly. Number 2, crafting clear and engaging goals. I'm telling you, look up SMART goals and actually apply them. It's super nerdy, and it seems like a waste of time at first. It seems very unnatural, but it really does help. So you need to set clear and very engaging goals. Number 3 is nurturing a powerful mindset. Like I said, how you speak to yourself, how you talk to yourself and about yourself makes a big difference. If you talk to yourself like you're a loser, you're going to be a loser. It sucks, but it's true. If you talk to yourself like you're successful and you're going to be a winner, you're going to get there. It can be a long and very difficult road, but you're going to get there. So nurturing a powerful mindset is huge. And that's something that, look, I think, especially if you have kids, you really got to keep in mind. I mean, as an adult, you need to help mold their little minds. And you met my kids just a little bit ago. And that's one thing that I'm constantly thinking about is how can I help them to develop that powerful mindset? Not to grow up to be jerks, but just to be confident and have that perseverance to really develop themselves into strong, confident individuals. And that's what we need to keep in mind about ourselves as well. And number 4, of course, is taking proactive steps. The idea, we've all heard this, you miss every shot you don't take. It's true. I could just end the show right there because that's absolutely true. You miss every shot you don't take. Fear holds you back. So your mindset, you see how these kind of tie together? Your mindset, if it's filled with fear, it's going to hold you back. You're not going to take that shot, and you'll never know. But if you talk to yourself positively and you're confident and you feel powerful and your energies and your attention is going towards this end goal and you're like, it's right there, I can feel it, I can touch it, I know it's there, I'm just going to reach out and grab it. Carpe diem, man. It's a real thing. So you need to take the proactive steps to get there, though. It's great having goals, but you actually need to do the work to get there. So take proactive steps. Those are the 4 keys to unlocking your true potential. So I hope it was... So I've been missing a lot of comments here. All right, let's see. David says, mahalo. David, if you're still here, mahalo back at you. He says, sup, boys. If you believe you can, or if you believe you can't, either way, you're correct. David, you're 100% right. I'm sorry I missed this comment, but you're right. If you believe you can, or if you believe you can't, you're 100% right. You're correct either way. And stretch. I don't know if you're talking about me actually stretching or talking about stretch goals, but yeah, you're right. But I do like this. If you believe you can, or if you believe you can't, either way, you're correct. It's totally true. And David, you missed a great show, or a great topic. I know you and I are going to start doing more fun things. Hey, by the way, last week when Dave and I were together, it wasn't last week, it was the week before last, we were together at the Hofbrauhaus. And the topic was conspiracy theories. We looked up some of the best conspiracy theories. We were kind of going through those in detail. If you guys like that type of content, just the kind of out there, fun, wacky kind of content, let me know in the comments. Send us a message, whatever. And maybe we'll do some more of that. That was a lot of fun, and really looking forward to it. David, thank you, by the way. Thank you, David, for not joining the show from Hawaii, because your wife probably would have held that against me. And I don't need that kind of attention. I don't need that kind of heat coming from your spouse. So Nikki and David, I hope you guys are having fun in Hawaii. Everybody watching and listening, wish David and his current wife a great vacation in Hawaii. I'm super, super jealous. Man, I wish I could be there. I've never been, so one day I will go. Maybe that's a stretch goal for me to work on. I'll add that to my vision board on my wall. How's that? All right. So, from the center of the earth, I've been West. This guy was not David because he's not here. And we will see you guys next week. We'll say next Thursday. Let's go next Thursday, 8 p.m. I've been West. That guy used to be David, and we'll see you then. Later.
funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods.